Hello everybody, Kris Gethin here and welcome to another episode of the Knowledge and Mileage podcast. This episode, if you're watching this as well, you can see there's a very well-known person the other side on the line here. And I've known this gentleman for, I think, since 2013. I met him first in 2013. Yeah. And he's won the Arnold Classic over here in the US and in Australia. He's won multiple pro shows, got second at the Mr. Olympia this year, which I was extremely happy about. And that person is William Bonac. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me, Kris. Thank you.
Well, it's been a long time coming, man. It's been a long time coming. So it's glad to have you back on the show. So I think the very first time that I did meet you, you were a 212 competitor. And yes, you definitely made a statement in my eyes. It was at the British show, the British Grand Prix. Was that 2013?
That was 2012.
2012. Yeah. Time's going quick. And you really stuck out to me, not only as a competitor, but because I remember seeing you back then. I was like, wow, this is a miniature Kai Green. Because you had the full muscle bellies, obviously you were a 212 competitor, and I remember after seeing you in prejudging, we were both staying at the same hotel, and I remember speaking to you very, very briefly outside of the event there, outside of the hotel, and just remember thinking, wow, this guy has got something. And you continued to grow until you grew out of the 212 class. And now, not only have you been standing on top of the Olympia stage, you've actually placed in the top 3, got second, and, you're vying for that top spot. So I'd like to, before we go into that, I'd like to go back a few years. Number one, you're from Ghana originally, and now you live in Amsterdam. How did you first get into bodybuilding? Was this in Ghana or was this in Amsterdam?
It all started actually in Holland, because I was at the age of 5, I moved over to Holland with my sister. My mother brought us over, so I always wanted to be strong. I wanted to be one of the strongest men, from Holland. So I was always watching, the strongest man competition, and it started from there. At 6 years old, I was stealing bricks from the playground in front of our door. So each day I would take maybe 1, 2, 3 bricks and then, fill it up, and then just lift it up, with 2 hands. And then each time I would try to do 1 more extra brick, and then I would hide it under my bed until my stepfather found out, So that's how it started. And then did a lot of push-ups, workouts in my room and a gym. Or at school, with gym, that was my favorite sport, So I was good in sport, almost good in everything, and even in soccer playing. And then at the age of 12, my mom sent me back to Ghana because I was stubborn. And then I started lifting weights in Ghana, but they didn't have the real weights, so it was like concrete. So we had to make it ourselves, and some of the parts were engine parts. So we just did some, bench press with those stuff, and some arms. And I stayed there for a year. So when I came back, I went to the gym, and but I didn't went often. I just went, let's say, twice in a month, and I build it up, and then at the age of, I think it was around my 14, 15, I got, in a problem with justice, and I had to go to jail, So from there going, everything started, because I had no obstruction, I could learn, train over there, and eat and grow, So that's how it really started. And they gave me education over there as well, for sport. So that's how I started. And when I got out, I continued for the personal training, fitness instructor. Yeah, also did other education aside of that, aside of the sport as well.
Interesting. It's funny because there's a couple of similarities. Like I had Dorian Yates on the show once, and the same sort of thing happened to him, where he went into like a detention center, and it was
juvenile.
Juvenile detention center, and that's when he really got into weight training and created structure for its life. It's amazing how that can turn people around. And then, so when did you actually think, okay, I'm not going to do strongman, I am going to go into bodybuilding, and this is where I'm going to see what I'm made of?
Okay, I did a lot of fighting as well, kickboxing, and I wanted to go more to the fighting side. Around age 21, I got injured during a training because I knew how to fight standing, but I just needed to learn the ground stuff, so the wrestling stuff and that kind of stuff, so the MMA part, the jiu-jitsu part. So, and I got injured during my training because I didn't want to tap off. And, so my bones like push up against my lung. And it's like, it took me like 20 minutes after that, after the hit. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't like do nothing. So they rushed me to the hospital. But they couldn't do nothing to me. They just gave me some morphine, to ease the pain. And I had to deal with that. It like my chest, this was like sticking out like this.
Wow.
If you can see how far, yes. So my bones was like, was like a bone fracture. So they couldn't do anything about it, So it took me like 3 to 4 years to heal. And each year it went a little bit down, but it was a weak start. So there was nothing for me else. So at the age around 26, I went to a bodybuilding show and I fell in love. I was like, man, next year I'm going to come to this show and I'm going to win it, So that's what I planned for myself. Took a year and prepped myself and I went for the show. I won the show. From there, we did other shows. Within 2 years' time, I won my pro card. Took a year off and then did a 212 class. From there going,
Wow, that's amazing. So at the age of 26, you see a show.
Around 20,
27, you compete in your first show.
Yeah, this was 2007. And 2008 was my first bodybuilding show.
2008. Yes. Wow, and then within 2 years, you've gone pro.
Yes. In 2010, I won my pro card.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a very fast rise. So at that time, like, did you think at any point that your aspiration was to make a living out of bodybuilding?
No. I never thought of that. No. And there was one of those, I think the first few years, my scariest moment, to be dependent on a sponsor or whatsoever, So I always had my job beside it, until it came to a point I couldn't get day off to compete at the Arnold Classic, and I had a choice, either compete at the Arnold Classic or quit my job, because the guy, I told him, like, I want to take free, I will pay for it myself, you don't have to pay me anything, but he said, no, we need you, and it's busy, and, so I was like, okay, then I gotta quit. So, but when I look back at it, it was maybe good because it pushed me, because I had to deal with like less money, for the month. So it pushed me to work even harder, So I think, on the long run, it helped me,
Yeah, I bet that gym owner or that your boss is regretting it now because you would have been an awesome representation of that facility.
Thank you.
All right, so now you've been competing for a few years, and you have a family, because ever since that I've met you, I know that you've always put your family first before yourself. So what sort of sacrifices did you and your family have to make during the time when you've decided, okay, I'm going all in with bodybuilding, it has to work out because I've had to give up my day job for this now?
When the moment I took the decision, I was with my ex-wife, and it was a tough time. It was really a tough time. She was like, she supported me, of course, taking care of my son when I was competing, And even in my amateur days, bringing me to my shows, preparing my meals. And then later on, it was like she wanted me to give up that lifestyle, you understand, and just, be a normal citizen, 9 to 5, get back home, sit on the couch with a beard in my hand, that kind of lifestyle. But that's not me, So we end up that relationship, and then I met my new fiance, and that was like, everything was, I was like, and even before that, even in my prep, because I used to work with Beer Hill, and even in my prep, I was kind of moody, always moody, and that's not me, I was always moody, but I was not moody because of my prep. I was moody because of my private life, because of the stuff that wasn't going well, you understand? I was like in between it, what should I do? Should I, give this up and just, understand, do what they want so I can have my family, and, so, yeah, it was stressful, until I met my fiance, and she was supporting me from day one. She even put herself away, understand, to push me in front, and yeah, I never had that kind of, commitment before. So that gave me like a huge motivation. And even now, like, she made it so easy for me. Before I come home, when I was separated, I come home, I have to wash my clothes, hang up my clothes, fix my meals, eat my meals, go to bed. Next day, same routine, pick up my son from school, bring him to soccer. So it was a bit stressful, So thank God.
Would you say would you say that's changed you, not just mentally, spiritually, but physically as well? Because I can imagine, especially when you're dieting down, your cortisol levels are really high, and then you've got the compounded stress of your relationship and lifestyle. That, it's amazing that you were able to do what you've done with your physique so far. Has that changed the appearance of your physique now without that stress?
It has, definitely, it has. Without that stress, it's like new me. And everybody saw it around me. Everybody, Neil made a comment. He was like, "You are different. Something is different with you." My friends around me were like, "You are more." Understand? They could see like, the happiness back in my life. The fire. You understand? Because I was like a man walking with his soul under his arms. And then, after everything turned around, I was like alive again. I wanted to go all for it. And then you could see that my shows and my places as well, because that was in 2017 when I first placed third place at Olympia, and that was like a huge accomplishment for me and my team. And then the year later, we won the Arnold Classic in Ohio as well. So, and this is all a part because of no stress, a good partner behind you, understand? And without that, I would be destroyed by now.
Yeah.
Because I'm a really emotional guy, you understand, especially when it comes to family. And if I didn't meet this woman, I would be destroyed by now. I know for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes to show, like, a lot of people consider bodybuilding as being an individual sport, but it isn't. It's really like a team sport, So when you're raising that trophy, you're raising it for other people in your team as well.
True, exactly. It's not just yourself. But that's what people make of it, like, oh, you have to be selfish. No, you don't. You understand? You can still do your stuff, be a good bodybuilder, be a top bodybuilder, and still put your family first. Understand? And because eventually, I always say, like, bodybuilding, I see like a job. It's a hobby. It's a job. And I know I cannot do this forever. But my family, I will always have them by my side. So I can neglect them now, and after 5 years, when my career is over and nobody talks about me, and then. You understand?
Yeah.
So my family comes first. I can always go back to them, no matter if I really am Bonac, IFBB Pro, or if I'm nobody. It doesn't matter to them. To them, I will always be. Really, they will always love me. So they go first. Yeah.
That's cool. That's a strong foundation that you've got there. Now, living, like, I've never been to Amsterdam. I know a lot of people that have been. Never. I need to come out there and check it out sometime. I know.
You should, man. I know you're going to like it.
Oh, you think? We'll go do some window shopping?
You're going to like it. You're going to like it, man.
Yeah, so, you've obviously traveled to the US plenty of times. And I remember when I was living in Venice, California, back in 2005, so many bodybuilders would move over from Europe and say, hey, you have to be in the US to make it in bodybuilding. Well, you've proven, again, same as Dorian, that is not so. Have you ever thought it's easier in the US or easier in Amsterdam? Have you ever thought that you'd like to move to the US like a lot of bodybuilders do? Where's your mind at there?
I did. I did thought about it, especially when I was with USN. Like the first 2 years, they started USN in the USA. So they wanted like one of us athlete to go over there, and that was the point that I was still with my ex, and I didn't want to put them through that, And I talked about it with her, and I heard her mind. I was like, no, I'm like, just leave it like that, So, and I also find it selfish, to if I didn't have no kids, a family, then it would be okay, But I can't, force my family to go to a place with me, and maybe they are not happy. They're going to miss their parents or their grandmother, their friends, understand? And I just don't want to put them through that. Me, I can live everywhere, you understand? So I'm okay with that. So I told you, I said no, I couldn't do that. And then colleague Ryan, he went there, so yeah, I had the chance. But
that's it. Yeah, Ryan was there for a little while in Florida, and he ended up moving back to the UK.
Yeah, I know. So,
that could have been you. That could have been you.
Exactly. So when he told me his story, I was like, man, thank God I didn't go.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So what about a lot of people out there in Europe that say, oh, it's easier in the US?
Yeah.
Easier with the food. Why is that?
You got more shows. Like every weekend you got a show in one of the states, so there's more opportunity, like for guest showing, understand, to be seen at shows, it's, to promote yourself more, so
to make
for
money.
us it's difficult. Yes. For us it's difficult to each time travel over there and understand. So
what about for prep, like food prep and stuff like that? Is it easier in regards to stay to your nutritional protocol because there's more variety in the US to Amsterdam or not?
No, I think maybe I don't know better, but for me, with my food prep, I wouldn't want it otherwise. I like it the way here the food is. Here they check the food really good. You understand? And when I'm in the USA, the chicken when I eat there, like when I come to Vegas and we do grocery, we stay in an apartment. The chicken tastes different than the chicken.
And you like, I don't know about you, but if I was to go for normal chicken that isn't humane raised or anything like that, I hold water on it because of all the hormones.
Yes, exactly. So and that's the thing. That's why I'd rather be here, because here I know exactly what's inside. I know what I have to take. So I'd rather do my prep here. It's only for the few days that I get there, then I have no choice. So then I have to.
Yeah, that's true. And one of the things that I notice, obviously here, people come over here and they see all the shiny objects and wow, so many different types of food. But I think that's a problem. There's way too many varieties. There's way too much sugar-free product out there that's just full of absolute crap. And like you said, like it's different here. There's a lot more hormones in the beef, in the chicken, a lot more antibiotics. There's a lot more glyphosate and bad stuff. Where in Europe they have a much higher, stricter regulation when it comes to things like that. So I think you're right. You are better off there. So I want to get into a little bit into your program, because I know everybody that's listening and watching are going, how do I get to look like William Bonac? What is he eating? How long is he sleeping? What supplements is he taking? So, of course, I know that you've probably answered this 100 times, but let's start off with your sleep, because I overheard you talking to my fiance and calling me a granddad because I go to bed at 8:30 in the evening. What time do you go to bed?
1 p.m., 2 p.m.
1 or 2?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. How much sleep do you get?
Not much, because like each hour I got to get up and go upstairs to pee, and so it distracts me from my sleep, because when I get back to bed I can't sleep fully, and after an hour I have to get up again and pee. So I try to drink less water in the night, but it's not really helping.
Right, yeah, because I have the same problem. So what I do for about 3 hours before bed, no fluid, No fluid. So I tried a front load. So what do you think you're getting, about 5 hours sleep? How much?
About, let's say 5 hours, but not good.
Not good.
Not
Broken
good.
sleep.
Not deep sleep. Yeah. And I know I got the advice to get that mask because I got sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't want to sleep with those whole machine around me, so, but I need to do it because it will help me with my physique as well.
Big time. So, like, it's funny that you should say that. Only this week, I am being a part of a sleep study where I had to wear all the electrodes because they will then tell me if I need to have a CPAP, if I need to have a gum shield, or there's so many different options you can go for. But it's probably worth it because not only is it going to be good for your cortisol levels and your physique, it's good for your long-term health as well to prevent things like Alzheimer's and immune diseases. So it's probably worth doing it. And you know what? I've become quite the expert on sleep because I only used to have 3 hours a night until I went to a clinic and found out that I had mold toxicity. So I do a lot of things now to quantify my sleep and help me. Number one is putting this phone down for about 2 hours before bed.
The phone is not even a problem with me. I can I just do what was necessary. Like even on my IG, I do what's necessary and then I put the phone aside, so the phone is not even the problem. It's just like I got so much energy and I don't know where it's coming from, man, and I just can't sleep.
Yeah.
I work out and I come back and, so I try even to train at different times. Sometimes I train like at 5 a.m. in the morning, and still when I come back, I got energy. I go lay down in bed maybe for 4 hours, get up again. Like that was the same situation as today. I slept like 4 hours, got up and.
Interesting. And you've tried supplements, different types of supplements like GABA, melatonin.
I did that last one, the melatonin. I took like a few years ago. I took one, and I didn't like the feeling, man. I was like, I was like just sitting there, and all of a sudden I was like feeling sleepy. Also, I was just gone. And the next day, like I really felt like okay, I had a good sleep, but it still was. I didn't like the feeling. Like it's like when you were in the hospital and they're gonna do an operation with you, and yes, they put like the mask for you to to knock you down.
Yeah,
it's that kind of feeling, and I didn't like it. Yeah, so I didn't want to be
reliant on it.
Yes.
Dependent.
Yes, and I didn't like the feeling as well.
Yeah, there are different dosages. Sometimes they come in too high of a dosage, maybe 5 milligram, just 1 milligram will do. But I was just sent a study yesterday, actually. Okay, listen to this. A 2011 peer-reviewed clinical study showed that people who went from 8.5 hours sleep per night down to 5.5 hours sleep per night, and diet and training was still constant, that was the same. The results at the end, the people who had 5.5 had 60% muscle loss. 60%.
Wow.
You are a freak, my friend, because look how big you are at the amount of sleep that you're having. But who knows? If you could tap into that sleep, Mr. Bonac, you could be even bigger.
Even naps, at times I can take a nap like for an hour, and sometimes I can't take a nap for the whole day. So it depends. I don't take pre-workout. Nope.
No caffeine? No caffeine?
No caffeine as well. The only time I drink coffee is, I think, 2-3 days out. Yeah.
Yeah. So what it may do is it may be worth looking into this, but we can talk about this offline. Some blue light blocking glasses. So that blocks out all the artificial light in your house.
Yeah, I think I saw your post with that before.
Yeah. So that's what really helps me. And number two, because especially during the winter now, we don't get that much sunlight. I blast myself early in the morning with an infrared light. So I'm getting the restorative red light. And that sets off my natural melatonin to be released later on in the evening to relax me before bed. So we can talk about that offline and see if that helps. And then when you win that Olympia title, you can say it's because of Kris.
Thank you. I will.
So, in regards to your nutrition, like, is it the standard bodybuilding protocol? You know, a chicken and carbohydrates. Do you mix your fats with your carbohydrates as well, or do you have them separately?
I do mix it. I do mix my carbs. I mix my protein as well. But it's like basic. It's simple. So like, for example, in the morning I will make like oatmeal. With some banana, like a piece of banana, half of banana. I will mix it with blueberries, and then take like a scoop, 2 scoops of whey protein, mix it, and then blend it.
Okay.
You know, blend, because it's easy for me to, because it's difficult for me to get all my meals inside, and especially in the morning, it's easy for me to consume them.
Drink
and
it.
Then I will, and then I will make like 8 eggs, 2 whole, and 6 egg whites, bake it, and that's like for my protein. And then let's say my second meal will be like rice chicken, it's like rice, maybe like, let's say 300 grams of rice or 200 grams of rice, and then 220 grams of chicken breast. And I will eat like 2 meals, sometimes 3 meals chicken breast, and there's but not after each other. So after the chicken breast, I will try to eat another different protein meal. So I will eat like salmon, for example. So the third meal will be like potatoes with salmon.
Yeah.
So potatoes, different carbs again, with salmon. And the fourth meal will be like rice again with steak.
Got it.
It's about 75 grams of veggies. Most of the time I take what is one? Broccoli and snijbonen. How do you say snijbonen? Yeah, greens. Yeah.
So you're on about six meals a day?
5 to 6 meals.
5 to 6 meals.
So the lower I go with my carbs, the more meals I will get inside. So now I'm dropping my carbs, so now I'm going to 6 meals.
Got it. Helps speed up your metabolism a little bit. Is it easier to get in?
Yes. And so in the beginning, the first 6 to 7 weeks, I will eat like 5 meals, but 5 big portion meals. And then I will drop the carbs and then make it 6 out of it.
Right.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So you don't really have that much in the way of fats. You'll have like your egg yolks. You'll have your salmon.
Yes. And avocado. But avocado, I will eat like 1 whole avocado for the whole day. And I will divide it in half. 1 half for 1 meal, 1 half for the other meal. Maybe 2 meals between it. And I will only eat it with chicken meals. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And what's your cardio protocol like off-season and contest prep? Are you doing it every day, all year round?
No. No. No, I don't. Cardio, I only do cardio like 10 weeks out of my show.
And then you'll start
about
every day?
Yeah, yes. So like building up every day, like 30 minutes. I will build it up, look how my physique look, like, okay, if I need to build the tempo up, I will go like to from 30 minutes to 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And then sometimes, I'll be like, okay, I'm going too fast. Then I put like, my feet on the brake and I will go back to 30 minutes.
And it's all steady states. And are you doing mostly treadmill, Stairmaster? What are you doing?
No, I do Stairmasters, 30 minutes. That's my favorite, so I will do like Stairmasters, 30 minutes. And then when I do the extra time, I will do 30 minutes Stairmasters and about 20 minutes treadmill, but walking hills.
Yeah, incline.
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny, you're one of the only people that says you love the Stairmaster, because every one of my clients hates it,
I know, but that's why that's the only equipment that's free when I get in the gym in the morning, because everyone is on the treadmill, nobody gets on the Stairmaster, so it's all mine.
Interesting. Okay, so you the reason why I was asking about your cardio in the off season is because you stay very lean in the off season. You stay in very good shape. Yeah,
I don't do no cardio in the off season. No, if I would, because in the off season I lose even weight. Most guys build weight, I lose weight. So for me to do in the cardio in the off season, I will go under the 100 kg. I will go to the 212. So yeah.
Yeah. So, would you say that you stay so lean then is because you've got a fast metabolism, or is it because you don't have any cheat meals in the off season? What is it?
No, I do have cheat meals. I think it's the first thing, and we kind of did a test in Tampa a few years ago, and they checked it and they said the same thing. Like my fat, I burned like 100% fat. So from there going, because early in my prep, we never did like cheat meals. From there going, they sent it to my coach, my ex-coach in the Hill. They sent it to him, and from there going, we started adding cheat meals in our meal. So
right.
Yeah, but right now, even in my prep now, I don't have really cheat meals. So now it's like, okay, like maybe every 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks, if I really feel like, hey, I need, like, I'm craving for something, then I will give myself to it, for one meal. I will make sure I get all my meals in, and then this will be like my last meal, because after that, I can get no meals inside. Everything will be like up in my throat, so I will give myself to it, and then continue my prep again.
Okay, and so, what's a cheat meal look like? Is it something like sweet, or is it more like a burger, savory fries?
No. Burger, I can't even stand it. I would throw up. It's like, let's say, fries. Fries, I can. More, how you say, pancakes?
Yeah, pancakes, yeah.
Yeah, pancakes, shawarma.
All right, shawarma, yeah.
Yeah, if I tell my friends, they were like, man, this is not a cheat meal.
This is clean, yeah.
So.
I'm the same. Like when people say, what is your favorite cheat meal? I'm like, muesli. Or granola, That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So
my stomach is too sensitive when I'm in prep, so I can't go crazy.
You're a sensitive little petal, aren't you?
Yeah, I know.
All right. So let's move it on now after the Olympia. Okay. So going into the Olympia, you looked phenomenal. You get second place to Brandon Curry. However, you had some problems leading into the show. You had some injuries that you mentioned. Like, what happened there, and how did it affect your training, and how did it affect your condition and how you looked on stage at the Olympia?
It affected. Okay. What happened was, like, I was doing bent over row, and I just felt something in my lower back. I was like, just maybe a twist, not a big deal. So I just finished my workout. A week later, we were training legs. We were doing like hamstrings. I was doing like stiff deadlift with dumbbells. And last set, maybe second rep, I couldn't get up. So I was like, when I went down, I couldn't get up anymore. So my back was like, stiff or stuck. I don't know what happened, and it was hurting me. So I went to sit down, stretch a little bit, and continue my exercises, but with a lighter weight, And I think from there going, I should have stopped and, just stop the whole exercise and just go home and figure out what was wrong. But, I just finished the workout, it took another 1.5 hours. And then from the next day, I started feeling in my back, my lower back, something is wrong there. And then we were training arms a few days later, and then the other side. So first time it was at the right side, and then when we were like 1.5 2 weeks later, we were doing arms, and I felt it at the left side as well. So then I was like, fucked. So my friend suggested me to go to the physio. Went to the physio, and his conclusion was like, I have like a problem hernia. I know that before, but it comes once in a while, but this time it was really worse. And he says like it's at the left side, but because the right side was always, like
compensating
it, you snap that one as well. So he said like he had to do something. He was putting some needles in my back and my legs, some shocks, and it helped a little bit, but it was already too late, the damage. And he told me like because of that, it was like also blocking a nerve.
Right.
So the nerve from my back that goes, is the only nerve that can go that way, that goes
through your psoas, through your hips.
Yes, through your serratus, yes. And then it's like turns from your knees, under your knees, and then it goes through your inner thighs.
Yeah.
Yes, so that one was like blocked. So there was no blood, and I could feel it as well because when we were doing leg extensions, I couldn't feel my leg, and I was telling my training spot, I said, "Bro, I can't feel my leg," so I couldn't even. I had no connection with my leg. Like, hey, I was like telling my leg, like in my mind, get up, but my leg didn't get up. It didn't want to, and it was like not even with 30 kg. And normally I do. It was like leg extension, one leg, and normally I do like 60 kg with one leg, and with the right leg, no problem. With the left leg, 30 kg, I couldn't even get up, So then I knew something was wrong, So, yeah, I couldn't do nothing else, just continue. And I wanted to stop, but I was like, man, I spent so much on this show, and, I paid for all my friends to come and see me, So I was like, nah, I have to continue this. And it started hurting me. Eventually, after 2 weeks, like about 2 weeks out from Olympia, I couldn't stand on my legs anymore. My training, even like seated, seated rows, I couldn't even lift up more than 20 kg, So, but it was slowly coming back, my strength, So I was like forcing myself, but I was choosing my exercise. So I was using more of the machines, So I felt a bit safer. So I didn't have to use more isolation exercises.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I would. Yes, so that helped me a little bit. But I saw I was just losing size, and couldn't really do anything about it. Because even the last few days, I didn't get to my diet. Like the last day of my prep, I was eating from from the Asian food, Chinese food, to get some calories inside, So
just so you can hold the size.
Yeah,
wow,
a little
interesting.
bit size. So and my left leg was like getting smaller and smaller and smaller, but the right one was still the same, But luckily, not a lot of people noticed it. At least the judges didn't notice it. So thank God for that,
Yeah, well, it's good that you didn't bring attention to it and you didn't mention anything prior, because obviously that can be a mistake in itself. But going into the show, then, knowing that you had these issues, did you think that you'd place the top 3? What was your aspiration? Where did you think realistically that you'd place?
Realistically, I was like, man, I'm happy if I can get my third place back, from 217. That was in my mind. I was happy, like, if I can get my third place back, I'll be happy. Because I knew, like, because we watch ourselves in the mirror, and like condition, no problem. Everything was on point, better than ever, in my opinion, But it's just, I was like looking more like a 212 athlete, than the open class athlete. So, but the condition was great, but it's just the size. I lost a lot of size in just 5 weeks' time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So going past that now, how is your legs now? How is the injury healed? Is it okay?
Yes. Because after that's the problem. Because normally after the shows, I take like a few weeks off from training legs, and this time I kept going each week. I never miss leg. I can miss any other part of my muscle group, but legs, I can't miss legs from now. So I've been training my legs since then, and also with my cardio, there's more blood pumping through my legs again. So I have the feeling back, I have the strength back, the coordination as well. So everything's going well. It's just not 100% yet. Let's say 90%, 95%, So that's good because like I said, I even a video like after the Olympia, I couldn't even lift one plate with the hex squat.
Wow.
2 weeks later, I was like struggling with four, 5 plates, So yeah, the strength is there, but if I put too much weight on it, the good leg is gonna do all the work.
Yeah.
You understand? So I have to. When I train my legs, I don't think. I just go with the movement. But now I'm just focusing on the left leg, to make him work.
Yeah.
Understand? So I'm not doing all the work with my right leg, and that helps me a lot.
Yeah.
And now we can also see the size difference, so you can't see it anymore. Before you could see like, okay, man, your left leg is too small. Now when you look at it, it's the same size. It's just a little bit pump. The pump is out of it from my knee going.
Right.
But yeah.
Got it. So, like, I know that you train heavy. Like, I've trained with you a couple of times in both Sweden and like about a year, just over a year ago in Dubai. And you train heavy. Yeah, you train heavy. There's no doubt about it. So are you back to heavy training now, would you say?
Yeah, I still like, I can't go to the gym and do my workout and get back and have the feeling like I didn't do nothing. When I go there, like I wanna, like even when back in the days when I was like working, I can go to the gym and I would give my all, and people were like, man, no, man, I have to go to work tomorrow and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't mind. I don't care what happened tomorrow. It's now. Now is the time, So that's always been my mentality. And when I get to the gym, I want to feel like, okay, yes, you understand? I've done something, So
yeah. So every workout is your all. And that's, one thing that I like about you is that you show the persistence. You've had some results that you shouldn't have had. You should have placed better. But you've always been persistent in coming back as well. And obviously working around your injury and then competing on the Olympia stage and being rewarded for that persistence as well. So moving on to the Arnold Classic, like what are we going to see that's different from William Bonac than what we have seen in the past? You've won this show before.
Okay. I'm gonna be like, let's say if I compare myself to the Olympia look, I'm gonna bring the package that I have, the way I look like 4 weeks out, 5 weeks out before everything started. That's the look that I want to bring to the Arnold Classic stage. The look that I wanted to bring to the Olympia, but that I missed. So that's the look that I want to bring to the Arnold stage. Like this condition, but the size is important as well.
Okay, got it. All right. So you said that you'd be happy with third place at the Olympia. You got second.
Yes.
What position?
But that was according to my situation then.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Of course. Yes. So what position are you happy with at the Arnold Classic then?
One.
Number one.
I'm going for number one. Yeah. Because now I don't have no issues with my legs. I'm working hard, and the physio told me it would normally for an average person it takes 1 year to recover. Because like every 2 weeks your blood moves like a centimeter in front. You understand?
Yeah.
So now I'm like it's more than half and more than 3/4. So he told me like around February you'll be good. So, but I feel good already now.
Perfect. And how many days a week are you training now leading into this? Is it 5-6 days?
6 days, yes. 6 days.
6 days. Are you hitting any of these muscle groups twice a week or just once a week?
My back, I hit them twice a week. I've been doing that for the past 5 years already. My legs as well at times, just because of the situation. So I try to, but sometimes there's just too much pump and too much, it's not recovered fully. So then I just, skip it and just wait till the day that I have to train my legs again. Wait till the week is over. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so you train your back twice a week then. Is that because you're trying to prioritize the lats on one day and traps on the other?
Definitely, yes. Yes, yes, and the thickness on one day. So try to attack the weight on one day and the thickness on the other day.
Got it. So a lot of heavy rowing movements on your thickness day.
Yes, for the thickness days, and for the weight, it's more like pull-ups and let pull downs and that kind of stuff. Because I always like when you train your back, you can always feel your underarm, your forearms, your biceps. They're all involved. To do all these exercises, there are so much exercises. You can't do them all at once. Understand? So. And I don't want to force things, understand? Because my back was not my best part, you understand? So I had to work it's hard to, bring it up compared to the other athletes, So my only choice was to train my back this way. 1 week, 1 day for the weight, that's like on a Monday, and on a Friday I would train for the thickness, and it's been working for me.
Okay, all right, great.
Yeah.
What about after the Arnold? Where else can we expect to see William compete this year?
The Olympia, of course. Olympia. Any other shows maybe around a few weeks after. So, but I can't talk a lot about it because it's not announced yet.
Yeah, okay. So the two shows are the main ones because you've competed a lot in the past in a lot of shows. Yeah. But, it seems quite obvious now that you're really dialing into these two big titles and putting all the efforts into the Olympia and the Arnold.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to skip the Arnold. I wanted to skip this Arnold because I didn't know, because of the injury, and I wanted to gain size and, and recover very well, But eventually, I was like, man, I can do this. Yeah, it's so close, and it's like, for me, prepping in the winter is the most easiest prep for me. I'd rather prep in the wintertime than I prep in the summertime. In the wintertime, the days are so short. It looks short, let me say it like that, because, like 5 o'clock is already dark.
Yeah.
You understand? We get up in the morning, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock is light, 5 o'clock is already dark. In the summer, 9:30, 10 o'clock, then it's dark, So the days are longer,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I prefer for the winter. It goes fast.
Well,
and the Arnold Classic is just a great show as well.
Yeah.
So
it is a great show. It is a great show. Well, it looks like you're going to be dieting through the winter and the summer.
Yeah, I know. I know. I don't mind. I'm okay with it.
Right. Okay. And lastly, before we wrap up as well, like obviously we're part of the physique global with Jag. Have you got any plans with Physique Global now, with any tours coming up or anything like that we need to know about?
Yeah, probably India.
Yeah.
India. So that's all I know for now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So people can follow the socials there to find out, when that may be.
Yeah.
I may be heading to India next month myself. But like everything that we spoke about today, I'll put some links in the show notes as well. So if you want to find William and follow William on his socials, on his Instagram, on the Facebook, I'll put all those links in the show notes there as well. But William, thank you ever so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Kris.
I really
man.
wish you all the best to take that #1 spot at the Arnold Classic, my friend.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, sir. All right. Good luck. Thank you very much, William. Bye-bye.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Bye.
Cheers, bud.